Hello, and welcome to another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. I'm Angela, and this is my bestie since 1977, Leslie. We are two free thinking Black women from Brooklyn, and we present topics that are of interest to older women living liberated lives on their own terms.
So, we were listening to Karen Hunter's show today, and she was discussing this melee that happened on the floor of Congress yesterday. And it made us think about quite a few things. So, it got us talking. So, just a little bit of background. Representatives Jasmine Crockett, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Alexandria Ocasio Cortez jumped in a little bit at the end. But they were having this discussion that, well, I'm saying discussion. It wasn't really a discussion. It really was more like a middle school lunchroom, almost fisticuffs.
Yeah.
But explain what happened and tell us what it got us thinking about.
Well, there was some back and forth about how people look, what people, how people chose to represent themselves, and things like that. We're not even talking about those details. There are three things that we wanted to talk about because these were things that were triggered in us. And the
Mm-hmm.
first thing is the fact that each person has agency over how they present themselves, what they look like. So that's the one thing that we wanted to talk about. We
Mm-hmm.
wanted to talk about the angry Black woman trope,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we wanted to talk about collaboration versus antagonism.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that we thought were of interest to our audience, definitely of interest to us. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's those are the three things that we pulled out of that melee
Conversation. Yeah.
that we
Well,
saw
yeah, right.
unfold on Karen's show.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's interesting about discussing how we present ourselves an agency to wear lashes or hair or clothing or what have you, it's that as adults, we are free to make decisions on how, what I often say is, present myself in the way that makes me feel empowered and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's appropriate for other people to give their personal opinions about how our dress, how our hair is, or in this case, how our lashes are. Now we've talked,
Mm-hmm.
Angie and I have always talked about like wearing the long lashes, and it wasn't for us personally. But for someone to castigate or criticize someone in that way for having lashes, I think was not only inappropriate, but it kind of spoke to other ways of content, how we talk about uh, what is that term where
I see
um,
it swirling around above your head.
you see it
I
swirling.
see it.
How
I see
we
it
I'm
like a
blocking on
cartoon.
the term. You know what
It'll
I'm
come
talking
back.
about. Yeah,
It'll come
we'll
back.
circle back to that.
It'll come back. So we have a friend who makes it gets her so angry when she
Mm-hmm.
sees people with the heavy, fluffy lashes. Like she
Mm-hmm.
calls them awnings.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not our cup of tea, but people can do whatever, people can decide how to present themselves, what is beautiful to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that is anyone else's business. And I know, like growing up when we did, there were very kind of strict rules around how we look, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. And I'm not saying we throw all of that stuff away.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that a lot of that stuff was scripted around not being liberated. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how we look to other people, how
Right. And
acceptable we
I
are.
was thinking about respectability politics.
Respectability
Yeah,
politics.
yeah.
Exactly.
Are you
Exactly.
disliking these turbans or leggings in public or eyelashes? Is it because it's something that's distasteful to you personally?
Hmm.
Or are you more concerned about how others may be perceiving you and what
Right.
they may be thinking of you?
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
how we
Eh,
usually, the things that really bother us are because we don't want to be seen that way ourselves. So, for example, um, it's like, you and I have talked about the bonnet situation. It
right.
actually came up in one of our podcast episodes some seasons back. But the idea that you don't show up that way because it makes us all look bad, that
Mm.
kind of thing. And to
And
me, that
other
ties back
people
to
can generalize it
exactly, you're
about,
making us look bad. You're not a
yeah,
credit
you're
to the
making
race
us look
is
bad.
kind of the,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of
We
respectability.
don't do
So,
that in public. We only do that code
and again,
switching and things
and
like that.
again, yeah, it's like you you don't have to choose it for yourself. And we're parents. I know I have opinions about how my children dress, and there was a time when they were
Hmm.
younger where I could have a lot of authority over that, but a lot of that I have to let go because they everyone has to set their own path. And the fact that we think that if we dress a certain way, we're going to get a pass, yeah, it may take us a little further, but that ain't no
Yeah,
free meal
yeah,
ticket to the promised land that you think it is, right? Oftentimes
yeah.
it's like, you know, you think that, oh, if you're
If I
not
wear and present myself in a certain way, then perhaps other people will not discriminate against me
exactly,
or will not mistreat me or think, will not
exactly,
hold their pocketbook when I walk by.
exactly.
Mm-mm,
No,
mm-mm.
no, it doesn't. So,
Yeah.
these are our opinions, but again, we just like getting it out there to get some
Yeah.
conversations going around things that we might have taken for granted because of, the time in which we grew up. So the next
So
thing that came,
what about that mean girl aggression or that trope about the angry black woman?
about the angry black woman, yeah, that's like, and I think when you first we were first talking about this, we are talking about the fact that these kind of stereotypes about us, sometimes we over rotate, right? Because we think, oh, we don't want to be seen as the angry black
Yeah.
woman. So we're gonna, as we say in Jamaica, we kiba our mouth because we don't want to be seen as this. So we turn ourselves down.
Right, but if perhaps there's a circumstance where, as Black women, we should be angry,
Yes.
why is it that we don't have freedom to express our anger without
Right.
someone feeling either intimidated or
Exactly.
threatened?
Exactly.
Or, I mean, everyone, human beings get angry.
Yes.
Why are
It's a
we
part of
not
the
allowed to get
experience.
angry and other people portray us in that way, whether or not those are our self described emotions?
Exactly. And sometimes all it takes is to walk into a room with confidence and you're set to be angry. You're
Mm-hmm.
set to have a chip on your shoulder. You're set to, and so this idea of, someone else kind of layering you with stuff
Mm-hmm.
is kind of what we are challenging you to push against.
To think about. But
Yeah.
not only that, when we are portrayed as angry, it can be really dangerous.
Yeah,
That
it
means
can.
that we need to be controlled. That means the
Yes.
law enforcement may need to get involved. That means that people may perceive things going on that are not going on.
Exactly.
I mean, we can go on
Exactly.
and on with examples about that.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
someone, for example, on the congressional floor starts
Hmm.
speaking about your appearance inappropriately, is it inappropriate to get angry?
Really?
You
Really?
know, and then to be called out, don't get angry, calm down.
Calm
Calm
down.
down.
She said,
I'm
calm
here to
down.
be a lawmaker, and now I'm here defending the way I look.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. So it's something to
Ridiculous.
think about.
And the other thing is collaboration versus antagonism. And this came to mind, I know, especially for me, is because I um, I'm I don't think the difference in how we see things, the difference in how we solve problems, I don't see that as something that is inherently a fight, right? That you have to kind of
Mm,
stay in your kind of way of thinking. Leslie and I are perfect examples of people
that's
who
true.
think very
Very
differently.
different.
We approach things in a very different way. We're wired very differently, but the level of respect is so high that that's why we have been able to be really close, um, challenging each other,
Yeah, getting shit
sharpening the
done.
saw. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
over almost 50 years. So, this idea that compromise and finding ways of collaborating, finding common ground,
Mm-hmm.
that that
As a
that
sign of
should be,
weakness
yeah, like
or you're
what is
punk
that?
or inappropriate. It's not to be,
Right.
it just, I mean, especially you have been a team leader in your business life for many many years, bringing together peoples of all different types of thought. Could
Mm-hmm,
you imagine
mm-hmm.
if everyone stayed stuck in their own beliefs and didn't want to
How would
work
we
with
get
other
things
people
done?
who thought differently?
Yeah. How would we get things done?
You would never get things done. In fact, you have always been able to embrace the richness of difference of opinions and to
Exactly.
show people and model people how those things can be
Yeah.
an asset to
Yeah.
working together more than a
Yeah.
hindrance. So when we see
Exactly.
these things in the political arena, it just doesn't make sense because our
Yeah.
politicians, we hire them in order to represent all of us, not just
Mm-hmm.
the certain factions of us,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why not things are not getting done and so many things are stalled
Yeah,
because we
for
see
sure.
how ineffective this
Right.
type of behavior and ideology is.
Yeah. So one thing that
Yeah.
just came to mind is really just kind of to be mindful of how this may be showing up in your own lives, right?
Mm.
Kind of
Mm-hmm.
this, it's my way or the highway, or if you think differently from me, there's something wrong with you, or if you
Yeah.
look differently from me,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I remember the first time that I um, went to the church that I'd been that I fellowshipped in for many decades, and the first time I went, I saw a group of people. There's a fly buzzing around. I saw a group of people who were, they were carrying their Bibles, and they
Mm-hmm.
had just gotten off their Harleys. They were fully tattooed. They had on the leather, and if I
Uh-huh.
had seen them in any other context, any other context, I would have had a certain opinion about them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yet they pulled up to the church,
On their
opened up their
hogs.
their satchels, took out their Bibles, and walked into church.
And
And
sat
some of
next to
them
you and
became,
worship with you.
yeah, some of them became really good friends. And so we have these ideas about this external, and as Leslie was saying, can become so dangerous. And this is where I think, and I'm going to go there. This is where I think racism becomes so powerful, is because there is a level of power. It's whomever is in power. That's where racism really shows up,
Yeah.
is when you have the power to affect the person that you then think that there is something wrong with, that there you should fear. When you
Mm-hmm.
have the power to affect that person's lives, those people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
that's where
Yeah.
racism, that's where
Yeah.
it becomes different
That's
from
where it
prejudice,
is.
or
It's yeah.
you
Yeah.
have the power to affect people's lives because of you. Your way of seeing them becomes the right way of seeing them. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
And then it becomes a binary where if there's a right way, then there's a wrong way or sinister
Exactly.
way or illegal
Exactly.
way or
Right.
inappropriate way. And then
Exactly.
the larger society acts on that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It becomes the way. The way to go. So anyway, this is what we what how we got triggered,
Yeah, we
right?
started thinking about this. It's like, wait a minute, there's so many things here. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So this is how we show up, guys. We bring
it
you
is.
our opinions. We try to just shift perspectives, even if it's in a small way, just to get you to think a little differently, to open up possibilities.
And we
And you
also
want to say
wanted
something
to
else?
shine a light on the conversations that we have when the cameras are not on us.
Yeah, this is what we
So we
talk
would
about.
love your opinions. We'd love for you to tell people about us, share this video, like this video, subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. See you next time.